Hello, and welcome to Studio 415.
On today's show, you'll get to hear why the state of Indiana removed course fees and what NACS plans to do about it.
You'll get to meet the new school officer, Kyle Gator.
And you'll see the debut of the Charter Sports Center segment.
All of that and more coming up next.
It's very powerful to be able to place a book in a student's hands and say, that's your book.
Sometimes students want to do an apprenticeship. It may give them a step ahead of the competition.
So if you guys need anything in general, just come in and stop in and talk to me.
Welcome to Studio 415. I'm Macy Fall.
And I'm Ella Hall. Every year, Carroll looks at changes and updates to its rules in the student handbook. This past summer, the state of Indiana passed a new law that changed how schools are funded.
The state removed the ability for schools to charge students for class materials. I asked teachers how their classes have changed, along with looking into how the system will work now. As the last school year was wrapping up, Indiana State Governor Holcomb was making changes to laws regarding schooling. Before May, Indiana was one of only 7 states that still require classroom and textbook fees from parents. Then, Indiana State Governor announced that the state would be providing $160 million to cover curricular materials for students. The law defines curricular materials as being books, hardware that will be accessed or used by students, computer software, and digital content. While $160 million seems like a lot of money, when you divide that among the 1.12 million students in Indiana, that gives roughly $160 per student. And while that may be enough for elementary and middle school students, high school is a different story. With 7 periods, AP College Course classes, an overall higher level of education, and a variety of electives, fees can add up quickly. Japanese teacher Laura Semba gives some insight of what the fees look like for one of her classes alone.
The amount they've allocated is approximately $160 per student, I believe. And that is not going to cover, especially high school students with 6 or 7 classes. And so my class for AP, for example, which is a college level class, with the textbook, it's about $130.
Classes have already started to be affected by this bill, since with the new budget, they can't have their own copies of books. Instead, some teachers have resorted to printing textbook copies. While students can still receive books required for class, the books don't belong to them anymore. Math textbooks have already transitioned to hardcovers in the past years. While that style works well for math, it can be hard in other classes like foreign language, since students now have more work, having to copy the questions and answers down. While it may just seem like an inconvenience, it also diminishes the ability to study over the summer or out of graduation because it's no longer possible to keep the textbooks. Semba talks about how empowering it is to give students books of their own.
This isn't your book. You have to avoid writing in it. And, it's just unfortunate because it's very powerful to be able to place a book in a student's hands and say, that's your book. And we've lost that.
Eventually, certain books that had leftover funding will run out, and everyone will have a temporary book only for that year. The bill only accounts for 2 years, though, so it's possible for the budget to change. Ultimately, schools could end up spending more money due to the fact that students deserve books that are in good condition. Generally, the wear and tear of books from year to year can be pretty bad, so replacements would have to be bought consistently. With that, school spending would continue to rise. Novels teacher Noel Beckley talks about the loophole of funding.
In the long run, it's going to cost a lot more money. It's going to, and it's going to have to come from somewhere. So, ironically, or we were joking in the hallway, with some of the other teachers, like, yeah, we'll probably have to do a fundraiser. And then who's going to pay money in the fundraiser? Probably the parents.
While it can be difficult, be sure to take care of the textbooks and novels this year, since students next year will need them. While this law could have many possibilities, that's something only the future can tell you. With Studio 415, I'm Macy Fall. Carroll High School is welcoming a new school resource officer to the building.
Studio 415 reporter Sasha Sidonova has more on why he returned to Carroll and how he will handle conflict. She joins us in the studio now.
Most Carroll students graduate from high school. They vow to never come back. But one former Charger has returned to walk the halls of CHS, and he is happy to return.
Kyle Gator, a 2013 Carroll graduate, has returned to Carroll as our new school resource officer, also known as an SRO. This is his first year on campus as our resource officer. Carroll High School principal Cleve Millian believes it's a great idea to have a Carroll alumni as new officer because overall he can relate to the student.
And I think he has a true desire to kind of give back to the community He knows what kids go through, especially if they're coming through Carroll.
Along with being an Ohio State and Carroll graduate, he also worked for Marlboro Tobacco Company before becoming part of the Allen County Sheriff's Department and the SWAT team. Millian believes that Gator will handle crime at Carroll with mutual understanding.
There's an issue that would need to involve him, that it would be something that it would be with dignity and respect for all parties involved, that it would be consistent, and there's an opportunity to educate.
Officer Gator is here to help all the students and staff. He says that his goal is to make Carroll a better place for everyone.
Overall, to maintain the safety and security of everyone inside this building, of all the facilities that we use, and continue to foster a great learning environment.
Gator coworkers believe that he holds unique abilities and traits in terms of his work at Carroll. A 5-year veteran SRO at Carroll, Adam Rogers, believes that Gator's youth will play a key part in his relationship with students.
He's young. He's young. He's got that young mentality, so I think that'll help, especially with the older kids or the younger kids here in the school.
Gator feels that he will have ease building relationships with the students because he was once a student here and he understands what we are all going through.
You guys can always stop in here. My door's always going to be open. If you guys ever have an issue, any of the students, staff, parents ever have an issue.
Officer Gator is here for the resource of students, whether you have questions or concerns. He's located inside of Student Services. For Studio 415, I'm Sasha Stonova.
There are many different ways for students to fill out their daily schedule. Most students stay at Carroll for all 7 periods, but there's a large number of students who leave in the middle of the day to earn a paycheck or learn about a job that they like.
Studio 415 reporter Sage Arnold has this report on students who leave school and difference between ICE and internship.
The CTE department chair and ICE coordinator Ryan Taylor started the ICE and internship programs over 17 years ago. ICE is also known as Interdisciplinary Cooperative Education and is a program that consists of 2 components, one being in a class and the other on a job site. In the class, Taylor teaches students everyday business activities such as how to manage money, learning about health and safety within a workplace, and career readiness. This class also allows students to leave after 4th period to attend their workplace. In order to join and pass this class, students must work a total of 15 hours a week, get paid, and have taxes taken out of their paycheck. This shows that you're an employee that is meeting state and federal requirements. Taylor says this class is a great option for your senior year.
I think the ICE program is excellent for students. It gives them the opportunity to explore a career. It also gives them the opportunity to make money.
The ICE program is a great choice for students, but you're also given the option of doing the internship program. Internships allow students to leave either in the morning or the afternoon. During the 4 periods, the students will go to their workplace of choice and get a hands-on learning experience and learn about their possible future job. Internships can give students connection for their future and help them discover what their next step after high school will be. Janet Crawford took over the internship program in the 2022 and 2023 school years after both programs began to grow. The ICE and internship programs are only available to current seniors and upcoming seniors. Carroll senior Chase Roberts expresses the positive learning experiences attending internship.
To me, internship is just going out there, getting a taste of what the workplace is in real life, to basically to make sure that you're going to be good and to make sure if you're really going to like what you're doing in the future.
Call-out meetings are held in November. For any further questions or concerns, reach out to your guidance counselor or Ryan Taylor. For Studio 415, I'm Sage Arnold.
Studio 415 is introducing a new segment that will try to recap many of the different sports here at CHS.
Jaden Householder and Chase Roberts bring you this week's Chargers Sports Center.
To start off the show today, we'd like to cover girls golf.
The girls wrapped up their home matches with a match against DeKalb this week, in which they pulled out the win, 152 to 165. This moves their record to 8-1.
Now we'd like to start off with looking at the lowest scores of Carroll. In this match, Taylor Larkins and Marissa Giroux. So Larkins had a score of 34 and 2 holes with a score of 2, and Giroux with a score of 37.
Very impressive from them. Well, the girls do have 2 more matches this week before sectionals, one against East Noble and another against Snyder before starting their postseason on Friday.
You know, with the season they've been having this year, I believe this team will be able to go back to the sectionals and bring a title back to Carroll. When we come back, we'll break down the girls' volleyball impressive performance at LaPorte Invitational.
This episode of the Charger Sports Center is brought to you by Studio 415. If you'd like to be part of Studio 415, please consider taking Principles of Broadcasting.
Welcome back to the Charger Sports Center. The girls had a very busy week last week with a total of 7 matches, going 1-2 during the week before traveling to the LaPorte Invitational.
The girls finished 4-0 with wins over Mishawaka, Valparaiso, Warsaw, and LaPorte, making them the champions over LaPorte in the Invitational. Their record now sits at 17-3.
The girls' next few matches take place on the road against Warsaw and Yorktown before returning back home to Carroll on the 25th against Concordia. Well, it was homecoming week last week, which brings us back the annual Powder Puff game between the junior and senior girls. We'll be right back.
Next week on the Charger Sports Center, Jaden Householder and Chase Roberts return with another episode covering boys soccer, boys tennis, football, and more. Tune in to the Charger Sports Center, brought to you by Studio 415.
Welcome back. The Powder Puff game brings back a friendly match between the junior and senior girls, where the seniors were able to pull off a late win in the game to make the final 52-25. The offense for the seniors was very electric, with them being able to put up that many points.
We don't have very many stats for that game because nothing was seemingly tracked. But one stat that I can bring to everybody is Coach Campbell can run a 40-yard dash in about 8 seconds. He definitely didn't want that victory water poured all over him.
We were able to catch up with Campbell after the game on the sideline to get his input on the team's performance.
The team did a great job. Seniors came out strong, continued to be strong the entire night. Proud of every single girl. They worked hard for it tonight. 52-25 speaks everything to hard work they put into it.
Well, Carroll football was back for week 4 at home against Bishop Dwenger for the annual homecoming game, and they did not disappoint the Neon Nation.
No, they didn't. What really made this game as exciting as it was the connection between quarterback Jimmy Sullivan and wide receiver Hanson Hafner. Hanson Hafner had 3 receiving touchdowns and 190 yards in the 40-13 victory for the Chargers.
The defense also came in very clutch in this game. Late in the fourth quarter, linebacker Cameron Lentz recorded a pick 6 to put the Chargers up 3 scores, sealing up that win and pushing the Chargers to 3-1.
The Chargers are back at home next Friday against Wayne, and they're playing the number 1 SAC team on Friday against Snyder. Thanks for watching the Charger Sports Center. As always, I'm Chase Roberts.
I'm Jaden Householder. Back to you guys in the studio.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for watching.
If there was a story you would like us to cover, please let us know.
For all of us here at Studio 415, have a great week, Carroll.